Joining us now is Florida State Senator Joe Gruters, who serves as the chairman of the Republican Party in his state. So, State Senator, when it comes to this issue, we saw that over the past couple of weeks, Governor Ron DeSantis took a lot of heat for his decisions, I guess pun intended, when it comes to that. They said that the beaches had to close. They said that he wasn't taking the proper precautions, but the outbreak never has come to fruition in Florida the way that a lot of people think. How would you grade Governor Ron DeSantis' response?
An A+, and I think this is where having one of the smartest governors in the country really helps, because he's literally analyzing data on a day-by-day decision, if not hour-by-hour decision, and I think he saved tens of thousands of lives with his measured step-by-step approach. And what we've seen here in Florida is it was a gradual slowdown, and now we're seeing a gradual movement to reopen the state. And where he did clamp down is where we are having the most issues, and that's in the Florida nursing homes, where he's engaged the National Guard, where he shut down the visitation right away. And as a result, I think he saved tens of thousands of lives. But I would certainly grade our governor an A+ on this issue. I think that he's taken an unfair beating over it for closing too slow and opening too fast. But I think it's done in a measured step-by-step way, and that's what we need to see here in Florida. I think he's doing a great job.
And the nursing home point is so important. About 1/3 of coronavirus deaths have taken place in nursing homes. Of course, Florida does have an older population, but you compare what's going on in Florida to what happened in New York, two governors taking very drastically different decisions. I mean, it's night and day when you look at the death tolls. It's a really tragic thing that's happening in New York, and a lot of that reasoning is because coronavirus patients were being forced into those nursing homes among vulnerable populations. So it's a really heartbreaking thing to see taking place, and I'd like to see a response sooner rather than later. But I want to stick on Florida for right now. Say that, for example, over the next couple days, there was an uptick in cases or there was an uptick in deaths taking place. How does that work in order to kind of adjust what the state is doing? Do you once again impose more restrictions? Is that what would be the next step?
Well, listen, I think the governor's done it perfectly. We were slow in terms of our shutdown, and what at first was no groups over 50, no groups over 10, restaurants at 50%, restaurants only takeout, then a stay-at-home order for sick in those with various conditions, and then stay-at-home order for 3 counties, and then for the whole state. And what you're seeing now is a slow, gradual reverse of that. And I think, if we successfully flatten the curve, we've had over 40% capacity in Florida the entire time at our hospitals, plenty of ventilators sitting around doing nothing. The sky never fell here, and I think it's because of the actions that we took early, and the fact that our governor went and got some of these critical supplies early. And so, listen, if we all of a sudden went above the curve, right, and we met capacity, I think what would happen is they would just shut it basically down.
And when it comes to that, I think that makes a lot of sense. And there's still a lot of precautions that you guys are taking in the state, whether it be, once again, minimum capacities, revising what people can do, kind of slowly getting back to normal. I think that's what's going on right now in the state of Florida. But there are also other means that are being used as well, such as contact tracing. Can you explain a little bit how that works?
Trying to do is you're just trying to make sure that everybody that gets tested, that gets a positive results, that they figure out where they are and who they're talking to, who they're meeting with. But what we're trying to do is clamp down on this and making sure that people self-isolate if they don't need hospitalization, which most people don't, but they do not go out and reinfect others. But that's where the governor's been so smart. And that's why I go back to it pays to have a Yale and Harvard educated governor who's probably the smartest guy in the room, whatever room you go to, because he is making decisions strictly based on data and the facts, not based on hysteria, not based on anything else, but trying to do what's in the best interest of Florida overall to deal with not only this health crisis, but the economic one that we're facing.
No, and I think especially when we're looking at something like this, where we kind of remove our ideologies and our emotional investments in this issue, I think data really is the driving factor, something that we should be looking at. And that's not to say that all data is perfect. We've seen models come in way off the mark. We've seen other type of data be manipulated in some way. But I think you're right on to say that that is the approach that we need to go on. And even before this, Governor DeSantis had a very high approval rating. It did tick down for a little bit, but we're seeing it climb back up again. I think that the people of Florida are really starting to believe in what he's doing, which is very important for him during this time. But State Senator Joe Gruters, I really appreciate you coming on tonight, breaking down what's happening in the state of Florida. Thank you.